Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. I'm your host, Julie Fairhurst, and today I'm with Jennifer Ann Johnson. Now, she's a speaker, an author, an entrepreneur, small business coach, and a podcast host. Jennifer knows that success is rarely a straight road. It's built through the moments when quitting feels easier, confidence feels far away, and we must decide whether to stop or find the grit to take one more step. Love that. After overcoming significant personal and professional challenges, Jennifer built a successful business, discovered the power of her own voice, and graduated from college at, drumroll, 51, proving that we are never too old. It's never too late to begin again. Welcome, Jennifer. Thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I when I read that, I was like, wow, that's like awesome. That's just so awesome. So who were you before you discovered the power of your voice?
Oh my goodness. Well, I am someone who showed up, but didn't always say what I was thinking. The pivotal moment for me was when I was sitting at a board meeting. I had asked to be on a board, and it was the first meeting, and there were a lot of guys sitting around who were attorneys, who were accountants, who were financial people. And I remember sitting at that meeting going, what am I doing here? Why me? I have nothing to contribute to this. That was
Ah,
the first meeting. The second meeting, I sat back and listened a little bit more. That's when the light bulb went on. These were all people who had knowledge in areas that I didn't have knowledge in. But guess what? They didn't have knowledge in what I had knowledge in, which was
ah,
starting a business, running a business, and a lot of the other things that I did. That was why I was asked to the table. It wasn't because I had the same skill set that they
yeah,
had.
yeah.
Once I realized that, I started speaking up every meeting just a little bit more and a little bit more. And that increased my confidence to continue to speak up. I
Mm,
think that is a lot of times what our issue is that we're not confident in our abilities, first and foremost, whether that's
yeah,
speaking, whether that's the topic at hand. So we stay silent, even though we may have an opinion to share.
yeah.
But once we start using that and practicing it, it becomes something that we gain more confidence in. I always kind of look at, remember when you first started riding a bike? Did you
Mhm.
have confidence? Probably not. You were scared. You were holding onto those handlebars while somebody else pushed you.
Yes.
Remember the first time that you drove a car? I know I wasn't confident.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Same kind of thing. So the more
yeah,
you practice it, the more you do it, the better you become at it.
yeah. And those are great points because it's true. There was a first time for everything in our
Hmm.
lives. And if we hadn't have jumped in the water, ran that, or jumped on that bike, or used our voice,
Hmm.
who knows where maybe we would never have had the enjoyment
Right.
of all of those things.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But we have to
Well,
do it over and over again. We have to practice it.
yes. So, was there a time where you struggled to speak up for yourself?
Well, looking back, it was the one thing that I remember that kind of started this entire journey was that first board meeting that I was at. And
Mm,
there have been other times, but more inconsequential. You're standing over
right.
there just biting your lip because you're like, I want to say this, but I shouldn't.
Yeah.
But it was more than that, and it presented itself to me in that first board meeting, that
Yeah.
first time that I really felt
Yeah.
this small
Mm,
compared to everybody else around the table until I realized I was not that small.
yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, what helped you begin trusting your own voice?
I think it was when I started using it,
Mm,
when I
yeah.
actually spoke up, when I actually said what I was thinking, what was on my mind, questioning things. That's when I started using it more and more. Again, because it's a skill. It's something that it builds on each other. If you
Yeah.
realize the first time I said something and nothing bad happened, ooh, let's try that again. You try it again, nothing bad happened. That's one of the biggest fears people have is public
Mhm.
speaking. And
Yeah.
I'm not talking necessarily you need to be on a stage, but talking to anybody.
Yes.
What's going to happen? I mean, people have not died from public speaking, but it is like the second biggest fear besides death is public
Yes.
speaking.
Yeah.
And that's not my world. I love doing that.
Yeah.
But I can understand those that feel that way.
Yeah.
And perhaps it's because you haven't practiced it enough.
I think you're right. I think that's exactly what it is. And
Hmm.
when you were talking, I thought, well, yeah, lightning didn't strike you down, so but I agree. I think it's little if we can practice them in the little things, then when we get to the big things, it'll be a lot easier for us. But if we're not
Very
even
true.
practicing them in the little things,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Well, what personal challenge has shaped you into the woman you are today?
Well, I am going to start with when I was a lot younger than I am now. I was in a very abusive relationship, and I'm very open about this. It's something that I talk about in my book. It's something that I talk about on stages.
Mm,
And I was in a very abusive relationship before I met my husband over 30 some years ago. And at that point, I have now identified what was part of it. And I'm going somewhere with this, but it
yeah.
was, being on the other side of it, being in an abusive relationship, not being very, very young and very naive. At that point in my life, I did not know who I was. No
Mm,
idea. And at 16, 17, 18, most kids don't.
mhm,
But because of that, I had no set of core values. Core values are what shape you, they're what lead others to you. It's a filter for you to determine, are these good people to hang out with? Are these, and as we get older, are these good spouses? Are these good employees if you have a business? It kind of runs the gamut. So it's not something that's a flash in the
mhm,
pan, one and done. I didn't know who I was, so how could I surround myself with people who understood me, who had the same values as me? I couldn't. I attracted wrong people.
mhm,
And I realized that many, many, many years later is that was the sticking point for me. If I would have known back then what I stood for, everybody else around me would have known what I stood for, and I would have never have attracted the people that didn't align with that. And that was the biggest lesson. That was a pivotal moment in my
mhm,
life, but it's something that shaped who I am. It has allowed me to have a different perspective and more empathy. I wouldn't be where I am today without all of the things in my life that have happened. And I believe that for everyone. In
yeah.
fact, if we sit back, I was just having this conversation with someone the other day. Instead of looking at challenges that we're faced with, or maybe they're not challenges, maybe there's something really great. Instead of going, why did this happen to me? How come me? Why me? If we step back and say, what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn here?
Mhm.
Why did
Yes.
this happen for me?
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to be far better off because we're going to have learned the lesson that we were intended to learn from whatever that situation was.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is, if your listeners take nothing else away from today's conversation, that would be the one thing
Mhm.
that is so important.
Yeah. I just loved what you said, Jennifer, in the beginning of that when you said, if, I wouldn't have attracted. That is a woman who takes responsibility for her life,
Hmm.
the good and the bad.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I think that that's such a powerful statement that you made because so often we forget we're the common denominator in our lives,
Hmm.
with the people that we're around and relationships. And not saying that we cause them by any means, not saying that at all, but we have to take responsibility,
Hmm.
even though we weren't the ones who did it, because that just helps us to move forward.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I think that that was just such a brilliant thing to point out because I think so many of us have a problem feeling that well, why would I take responsibility?
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And,
And because you're attracting it, that and you don't want
right,
to attract it, so that's why you
right.
have to take it.
At the end of the day, you're responsible for one person, and that is you.
Yes,
You're at choice with everything that you do.
yeah,
Now, granted, in a situation where there is domestic violence, assault, things like that, it's much harder to
yeah,
do. And I understand that. I can empathize with that.
yeah.
At some point, there's something though that makes you stop and say, enough is enough. You
Yes,
go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yes. So so good. Okay, this is what I think is so interesting about you. Graduating from college at 51. So, what inspired you to do that?
So it was actually, I had this goal. Well, let me back up. Right out of high school, I had a scholarship for broadcast journalism. I was going to be that anchor that you saw on TV at night.
Oh,
Still to this day is a big dream of mine. So if any of your listeners know of someone hiring, I know of someone.
perfect.
And that was my plan. But of course, I gave that up for the abusive relationship that was not going to happen.
Mm,
I ended up going to school. Back then they were called secretaries. Now they're
yes,
admin assistants. So I
yes.
went to school to it wasn't even a community college. It was at that time they were called Votex. Now they're not called Votex anymore. I'm totally drawing a blank.
That's
But
okay.
it was a college that taught you a specific program, and I went to become a secretary. And was able to get out of my abusive relationship, met my husband. He encouraged me to go back to school. I went back to school to a community college. It took me 7 years to graduate with a 2-year AA degree
Wow.
because I was working a couple of
Yes,
jobs, a full-time job,
yes,
a couple part-time jobs, doing all the things that you would do.
yeah.
I graduated 7 years later with my AA. The next year, I had my twins.
Oh,
So what happened is the idea was shelved to continue going on to school, and I had started a business at that point, and there wasn't room in my life to do that. About 3 years ago, 4 years ago, my children graduated high school. And it wasn't an idea that came out of nowhere. It was always on my bucket list.
yeah,
And I realized they were going off to school. It's my time to check off one of those buckets. And one of those buckets was to go back to school and graduate college by the time I was 50. Now, I did actually make it before my 51st birthday, which is on Valentine's Day. I graduated in
oh,
December of 2025.
oh,
My 51st birthday was not until February of 2026. So I made it before I turned 51. My goal was to graduate by the time I was 50. So I was in my 50s. That counts,
yes,
right?
that does count.
And I remember, I think it was probably my kids who said, "Are you really going to walk the stage?" And I said, "Heck yes, I am, because I earned this." I think
Yeah,
there is a different weight from graduating college with a bachelor's degree when you are much older than everyone else.
yeah,
There is a weight of, you know what, I earned this. It wasn't something that was just given to me. It wasn't
yeah,
something that I worked really hard to do this and to
yeah,
graduate in the timing that I did
yeah,
with the
yeah,
grade point average that I did. And of course, yes, I'm going to do that because I have earned it. And I learned so much more, I believe, going back to school later in life than I would have learned going to school at a young age. Because
Yeah.
what do you know? That's the hard part. What do you know
Right.
you want to be? Now, I knew what I wanted to be.
Yes.
Granted, that didn't pan out for me, but I have the life I want.
Yeah.
So does it matter? No.
No.
But I'm able to do things on my bucket list, things that I wanted to fulfill, and that was one of them.
Yeah. That's, yeah, I can see you walking down the stage. And so you should. It's like, what an
Exactly.
achievement. This is an achievement for anyone, but what an achievement. And what I really like about what you say is that like you had to set it aside
hmm
because life happens, but you knew you were going to pick it up.
hmm
And when you
Right.
had the opportunity, you did.
hmm
And that's the thing, now you've got a good 30, 40 years to get that up, the next bucket list thing going on. Like, it's like our life doesn't end when we hit 50.
It doesn't.
No.
Surprisingly to all those out there who think it does, right?
Yeah, yeah, and I agree with you. I think that with when you've got all that lived experience and that different, I think you go in with a different mindset.
hmm You
Yeah,
do. It
yeah,
is, it's a learning mindset.
yes,
And
yes,
also I found myself challenging the system a little bit because I remember this professor that I had taken an HR management class. And there was so many things in there that to me, we don't use in the real world.
yes, yes.
Many times I had reached out and challenged him saying, I don't know why you're teaching us this. This is not anything that I can use. This is not what I expected. The answer that I got was, I teach theory,
Oh,
which is academia.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it just threw me for a loop. And that was the only B that I got in school.
But it's true. So much of our education has not much to do with real life.
And that's a disservice. It
It
really is.
is. It is. It is. And I know for myself, I was in real estate for over 30 years, 34 years, and I recently retired to do Women Like Me full time. But I remember the course didn't change hardly at
hmm
all, even from when I took it in 1991 to when others were taking it. And it taught me I was going out into the world and selling people's homes,
hmm
dealing with their future, their money. And I knew nothing. Like, I knew about, things that had nothing to do with what I was actually doing. So I
hmm
agree. We need more real, real stuff.
We do.
We
We
need
need the
people
meat
like
on the
you and
bones.
we need people like you and I out there teaching. No, I'm serious, because that's, people with experience, so that we can talk about that day-to-day stuff, that the stuff that really, really matters.
The hands-on learning. That's where
Yeah,
people learn. I know
yeah,
that's where I learn best. You can put me in front of a portal and I can watch a video and do all that.
yeah,
But unless I'm actually doing whatever it is that I'm
yeah,
trying to learn, it's very
yeah,
hard for most people to get that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's our little rant. So, okay. So, why is our voice one of our greatest business tools?
Wow. Well, that is a very long question. I will try to answer that briefly. It is our most powerful tool because think about this. Let's say I'm going to put it in the terms of you're a small business owner. You said you were a real estate agent. Who is the best person to advocate for your business? You.
Yes,
Who is the best person to tell somebody what you do? You. A lot of people think, oh, it's my marketing material, it's my website. Yes, you need those things. It's your social media. You need all of those things.
yes,
But when I say voice, I don't necessarily only mean your spoken voice. I also mean the things, the written form as well. The things that you choose to put on your website, the things that you choose to put on your social media posts. Those are all encompassing who you are as a brand, as a business, because as a real estate agent, for example, you are your brand.
Yes,
It doesn't
absolutely.
matter whether you
Hmm.
work for a brokerage,
Yeah,
they're not looking at XYZ real estate company.
yeah.
They're looking at Julie.
Yes,
They're looking at you. You are the brand.
yes.
That is why your voice is so powerful. And so many people discount that. They don't really think of it as a powerful business tool. And it
Hmm.
truly is.
Yes,
If you
yes,
look at it again, if you break it down, it's not just the spoken word, it's the written word, it's all your voice.
yes.
And it's
Yeah,
critical because you know what you sound like, you know how you would say something, and you need to be true to that and go out into the world and be you
yeah,
and speak up and have
yes.
those conversations. But you're your best advocate. You're your best
Mhm.
spokesperson. You know what you do and you know you do it well. So tell everybody about it.
Yeah, you're spot on, spot on, especially for small business owners who
Right.
are the face of their business. And I remember when I was in so long ago, real estate, that people would jump from office to office to office, and I remember
Mhm.
thinking it has nothing to do with your office.
No.
Nobody's going to hire you because you're with ABC Realty. Well, maybe a tiny, tiny bit, but
Hmm.
it's about you.
It
They
is.
want to work with you.
Hmm.
And so you're absolutely right. If you can, and if you're not able to speak up, then you're losing so much.
Yeah, you're right. And I want to actually touch on another point that I just thought about is that in the world of AI,
Yeah.
you can go to AI and say, hey, write me a post about this.
Hmm.
But if you're not interjecting, looking at that post before you actually post it to make sure it sounds like you,
Yeah.
that it looks, smells all the same like you, your audience is going to know that.
Yes.
They're going
Yes.
to see it a mile away, and that devalues you as a brand.
Yes.
When you're using tools like AI for the written aspect, whether you use that as written or you do a video, whatever the case may be, just keep that in mind. You can
Yes.
use AI to help you create the things you need for your business assets. That's
Yeah.
fine. But make sure it sounds like something you would say. Does that make
I
sense?
I agree. It's such a good tool, but it needs to know your voice and your yeah,
Yes.
and you have to, or you're absolutely right. All of a sudden there's all this content going out, and then somebody speaks to you, or they hear you speak, or something, and then they go, well, those two things aren't in alignment. Something's
Exactly.
something's off there.
Right. It's
Yeah.
just like a business. For example,
Hmm.
I own a retail store. It would be like me posting these beauty shots of stores that don't look like true fashionistas. And then
Yes.
they come in the door. Wait a second, am I in the right spot?
Yeah.
And then you start getting people saying, well, that's not really what they look like. The same
Yeah.
thing. If they're seeing
Hmm.
you on social media one way and then they hire you and you're completely opposite of that, what do you think that does to your brand? It totally devalues your brand.
Yes, so much. Yeah, yeah, that's it's so true, so true. So, what can a woman do when she fears being judged? Because I think that's part of why
Mhm.
women are stay silent, why they don't speak up.
I think that is a personal reflection point
Mm,
where people, women, have to look at it and go, what am I scared of? So what if Jane Doe or Sally wants to judge me? The words aren't going to hurt me. It's not like I'm going to die because they are thinking something of me.
yes.
They have to be, it comes back to confidence, I believe, in
Mhm.
some respects. You have to be confident enough to know that not everybody is going to be your cup of tea, and you're not going to be everybody else's cup of tea. There will always be people in this world that don't like what you look like, what you do, or what you say. You have to be confident enough in your skin and thick enough in your skin to not care about all of that
Hmm.
and move on with your life. Because at the end of the day, when you are sitting there thinking that someone else is judging you, or whatever the case may be, let's say you think that they're judging you, who is it putting all of the pressure and the stress on? You.
Yes. Yeah.
They're not feeling anything that you're feeling. They have no idea that you think they're judging. They may be judging you, but they don't have the same emotional investment in it
Hmm.
as you do. So
Yes.
you're doing a disservice to yourself if you keep ruminating on, oh, people don't like me. Oh, they're talking about me. You have to find a way
Hmm.
to not care about it
Yeah.
because that's going to keep
I,
you stuck.
Yeah, and I think that social media, because there's those social warriors out there who love to just kind of
The
zip
trolls.
in, yeah, and have a few things to say and then zip right back out again. And I know for even for myself in the very beginning, I remember going, oh, like, oh,
Mhm.
and I had to overcome that
You
because
do.
there's just it's going to happen to all of us out there. So and I would engage with them because they're but then I would lose.
Right. You learned
So
your lesson that you
I
have to
did.
back away and ignore them.
Yeah, so now
Or
I
the-
just go hide comment, delete comment, block. I have no time for that
It's
anymore.
not worth your time or
It's
your
not.
energy.
No, it's not. It's not. And so I think for anybody out there that might be shutting themselves down, don't let some stranger out there just, deny you of your dreams and your
Mhm.
goals because they said something stupid and nasty to you. Just, you can delete that.
Everyone
I
can hide behind a keyboard.
Yeah, exactly. I remember years ago, I used to send out a lot of flyers for my business, right? Because of course we didn't have, social media at the time. And I
Right.
remember this older gentleman, he would phone me every time he got my flyer in the mail and he would be angry. Would stop sending me these flyers. And I'm like, well, I'm not sending it directly to you. Like it's a mail drop. You have to call. If
Hmm.
you don't want it, call the post office. But in the very beginning, I was like, oh, so I
Mhm.
was going to stop marketing to, I don't know, let's call it 5,000 people who didn't have an issue with it because this
Hmm.
this one gentleman, older gentleman, it irritated him.
So
We
I
have to
once,
think about that.
right, I once heard the saying that said, don't let the reactions or decisions of one affect many.
Oh,
And
oh,
that's what I
yeah.
heard there was
Yes.
you were on the verge of allowing the actions of one person
Yeah.
affect everyone else that you were sending those to. It's
Yeah.
I totally understand because as a business owner,
Yeah.
it is your baby, it's what you created. It
Yeah.
is you because a lot of us as small business owners, that becomes our identity. I can understand that. And it's
Yeah.
valid. But you cannot, every time someone leaves you a bad review, yes, respond to it, but don't take it personally
Yeah.
because you don't know what's happening on the other end. You don't know, are they having a bad day? Did something happen in their life to someone that they love, them? You don't know what's happening in their life. Just like I tell all of my associates, be kind to everyone. You have no idea. They may be rude and nasty to you, but you don't know what they're dealing with on the other side of the
Yeah.
counter.
That's right. Maybe he was lonely. And every
Hmm.
time he got my flyer, he just wanted to have a conversation with somebody.
Right.
You don't know. You don't know. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but thank you for that. That was very, very insightful for sure. And we don't know. So, and you will never know.
Right.
Just
You
don't
won't.
let it stop you in your tracks.
Exactly. You have to be stronger.
Yeah. Well, what does grit look like in real life?
Well, it's a framework that I actually teach. So the She stands for grounding yourself in your core values. That is knowing what you stand for. The R is reframing the situation. We've kind of already talked about that, which is why is it happening for me, not to me?
Yeah.
The I is identifying the next right step.
Mhm.
I say you do not need the entire staircase. All you need when you're talking about a challenge you're trying to solve, when you are learning a new skill, it goes across anything in your life. You don't need to do it all at once. You just need the first step. Then you can build on that first step and go to the second step, and so on and so forth. It gives it into bite-sized pieces so you don't get overwhelmed.
Mhm.
And then the T is finding your tribe. Finding your
That's
tribe is really
important.
important because it's the
Mhm.
people that you surround yourself with so that you create the environment that is optimal for you and you're attracting the right people because you already know your core values. The tribe that you are attracting is because you know who you are.
Yeah.
And it all works hand in hand. And it's a method that, looking back on my life, it's the method that I followed even without knowing I was following it.
Ah,
And it's something that over the last few years, I actually put into a formula. I actually realized what it was and put it into a program, put it into a formula to explain to people, to teach people what that looks like and how that can get you through any situation that you're facing. Just follow those four steps.
yeah. Yeah. So right. It's just it is. It's one step,
Hmm.
and then the next. I mean, we all wish we could just jump, but I can't jump steps. I got to take them, or I get lost in the whatever's happening out there in the world.
Right. And just take it
Yeah.
one step at a time. That's all you
Yeah.
need.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So how do we know whether to preserve or not preserve, I'm sorry, persevere or to change direction? How do we know?
I think you feel it.
Mm,
It really depends on a lot of different things, but in my experience, it has been how I felt. Now, one could look at it and say, well, I have tried this 5 different ways to Saturday and it didn't work, so I just need to give up. I'm of the thinking, well, what if the sixth way would have?
oh, that's yeah. Yeah.
You have to really, it has to be what you feel.
Mhm.
And I don't know if your listeners have heard of this book, but it's The Power of One More by Ed Milet.
No, I'm writing it
Really
down.
good book.
Hmm.
And he talks about the power of one more, where, it's one more phone call, one more sales call at the end of the
Ah,
day,
yeah.
or I'm going to do one more push up. I am going to run one more mile. I'm going to stay at the office and do one more thing.
Mhm.
And if I didn't do that one more, I wouldn't know if it's possible. But it's
Yeah.
again personal to you. You have to feel when it's time to call it quits.
Yes. 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 But it's so true. You don't know. I always say you don't know what's around the corner until you get
Hmm.
there.
That's true.
Yeah. Like it could just be right there waiting.
That's very true. And
Yeah.
you would not know if you didn't try it one more time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to lay out all of your possibilities. What did I try? What haven't I tried? And then make that determination
Yeah. Well, what do you think women misunderstand about resilience?
that they have to be powerful and strong all the time. And you
Mm,
don't. There's a lot of vulnerability
mhm.
that comes in resiliency. It's realizing that, okay, well, I got knocked down there. I have to get back up.
Yeah.
And that takes somebody being humble. Yeah, well, I guess I didn't do it right. Taking some ownership of it. It's not all about being the tough guy or the tough woman.
Yeah.
It's not all about that. And I think that is probably the misconception is that you always have to have game face on. But do we? No, that's not real. And if you're modeling that for other people, think about that. Think
Mm,
about, do I always need, they want to see really what it's like. And that's not me being strong all the time. There are times that you break down. There's times that you get really frustrated.
yeah.
And that's all part of resilience. You don't
Yeah.
have to be tough all the time.
Yes. No, exactly. Yeah. I I heard this saying once and it really clicked for me. And because I was a bit of a workaholic in my career, and I heard them say, "Oh, on the tombstone, the last thing you want on your tombstone was, gee, Julie sure worked really hard."
That's
I
very
thought,
true.
I don't want that.
Think
Yeah,
about that. Think about
yeah,
end of life and what you want to be known for.
yes,
That goes back to core values as well.
yeah, yeah,
When I look at core values, I go through this. I have a program for small business owners that they go through these series of questions. And one of them is, how do you want to be remembered? Because
mm,
most often that's something that's a value that truly resonates with you and it's part of you.
yeah,
And that helps you unearth what that is.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's a great question to ask yourself and to ask someone
Mhm.
else. Yeah,
Very
yeah,
true.
yeah.
Very
W-
true.
Well, how can we rebuild confidence after we have a setback?
Practice, practice, practice. Keep doing it over and over again, whatever that is.
There's not
So
an
you're,
easy secret.
I don't have an easy secret because I don't think when we get knocked down to get back up again, we just we close our eyes and we find our way like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And it just
yeah,
depends on what the situation is. You just have to dig deep and say, all right, okay,
yeah.
this happened. Why? What's the
Mm,
lesson? If
yes.
you find the lesson, you're going to find your way out and find your way back up.
Yeah, because there's a lesson really with everything
There is.
if you look for it.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's been your hardest lesson in business?
In business, I would probably say COVID really tested me.
Oh,
I remember
oh,
we were headed back from a family vacation in Nashville, and the president came on the radio and said, all right, this is what's happening. Businesses and everyone's going to have to close.
yeah,
Didn't really believe it. We get home, and it was probably a week later that everyone was mandatory to be shut down. And I literally laid in the fetal position on my couch for a week,
wow.
thinking, this is it. We worked this hard,
Yeah,
and it's all gone because of some stupid virus.
yeah,
What?
yeah,
And you go through the grieving process, but I literally lay there for a week. After a week, I got up and I was so mad at myself. It was literally a week. I was mad at myself because I wasted an entire week doing nothing but wallowing in my tears.
yeah,
And what did I do? We started doing live shows on social media to sell product.
yeah,
That was probably one of the hardest. That was
yeah,
one of the hardest times in business, for
yeah,
sure,
yeah.
because you
But
didn't
Jennifer,
know,
I think the key in that little bit of your story was that you did get back up.
right?
So sometimes if you feel like you got to go to bed and put the blanket over your head and just stay there for a day or two, then stay there for a day or two, but don't
Hmm.
stay there forever.
Get over it and move on.
Yes,
Do it,
yes,
but do it fast, as
yes,
fast as you can.
yes,
And then, I mean, you need to
yeah,
allow yourself time, but
yeah,
then you have to get past it. You have to move on. And if you can't move on, you're stuck, you go nowhere, and nothing good comes of that.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, Jennifer, tell us how people can find you out there.
Yes, there's several ways. You could find me first and foremost on my website, Jennifer Ann with an A-N-N, no
Yeah,
E, Johnson.com. The website for the resale store is truefashionistas.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram at Jennifer Ann Johnson. And my podcast is called The Confident Entrepreneur, and it is on everywhere that you can get your podcasts.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I'm going to make sure we've got links in the show notes for everybody so that they are able to locate you and find you. I want to ask you about the ripple effect.
Mhm.
What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is every action that we do, whether you smile at somebody, walking in a door, you hold a door for someone, has a ripple effect. It has an effect on someone else. Let's say you say something negative, that affects someone in not a positive way, obviously. If
Mhm.
you say something positive, hey, you look really nice today. You could have been the one compliment or the
Mm,
one smile that they got today. And that created a ripple effect. Actually, whenever I do that keynote, I have little rocks that I hand out, pink rocks. It's my favorite color.
yeah.
So I hand out pink rocks to everybody. And the rocks are meant to remind us of the ripple effect that we leave on people. To be mindful of things that we say and do can affect other people. The simplest of things. And
Yeah.
that's what the ripple effect is.
It's so like I'm so glad that you brought that up. And I'm just visualizing these cute little, because I love pink too. And I'm imagining these cute little pink rocks that women have got all over the place just to remind them about it.
Hmm.
But you're so right. I remember years ago I was just so focused and within my own little bubble that I wasn't really paying too much attention to what was happening in the world. But now it's a different story. And now I go to the grocery store and I see that grumpy clerk, but I don't get offended by it. I think, what's going
Hmm.
on? Because I remember even in my business, I would have, heaven forbid it happened, I would have an argument with one of my kids. And I would be so frustrated. And I'm in the car crying to my appointment. And then I get there and I'm like, and I knock on the door and I'm like, hi. And now I got to put on that happy face. But nobody knows what I went through before
Hmm.
that.
And I have the saying, you have to listen really carefully because people aren't going to get it right away. Pobody's nerfect.
Mm,
Nobody's perfect, but it's pobody's nerfect.
got it. Got it.
And all people want to see is the realness.
Yeah.
That's what they want to see
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, so good. Okay. Why do everyday interactions matter so much?
because they create the ripple effect.
Mm, yes.
Again, whether it's a smile, it's a handshake, it's a holding the door, they matter. You don't know what someone else is going through. You could make their day. That's why they matter so much.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, for sure. What ripple do you hope your own work leaves behind?
Oh, goodness. I hope that what I have created is a space where others can really put some reflection on what they do and realize it's not all about them. Because once it's not all about you and it's about everybody else, it changes your view. It
Um,
changes how you react
yeah.
to others. That's really what I hope.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. What are you still becoming?
A better version of myself.
Oh, that was too easy. That was a good one. You didn't have to think, you just knew it. That was for sure. Oh, I love that. That's a better version of myself. Perfect. Yeah. Well, my last question, and I have enjoyed this conversation so much, but my last question is, what would you say to the woman who does believe it's too late?
It's never too late. Listen, if I went back to college and graduated in my 50s, if I reinvented myself 3 or 4 different times from the time I was 30 to now, you can too.
Yeah,
It's never too late for tomorrow because every day is a new day.
it is. It is. And we're living longer and longer.
We are.
Yeah, like go to school at 50 if that's what you want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for doing this. I have really enjoyed it. And I, you know, I know that you're a podcast host as well, but you just get to meet such interesting people and
You.
learn some good things.
That is a fact. It's
Yeah,
one of my favorite parts for sure.
yeah, absolutely. Well, again, thank you so much for doing this. And remember, everyone, look in the show notes and you'll have information where you can reach out to Jennifer if you'd like to track her down. Um, uh, so thanks again. And thank all of you for being here for this episode of Women Like Me Stories in Business. And we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.